antisocial scientist. Can you add something about what Marco said?
Well, thank you for pronouncing my name very clearly. The
All
antisocial
right.
scientist.
It's too
Yeah,
long, man.
yeah, it's too long. So many syllables.
I need to learn. I need to learn how
Right.
to pronounce a name every time we have a podcast. The antisocial scientist. And I have
Right.
problem with my
So
S
hard.
right now. Maybe it's because of the mask.
I know, I know. But it's okay. Anyway, yeah, actually, we have to count the international support that Israel received uh, from other countries like the United States and the Soviet Union. In fact, Joseph Stalin became a staunch supporter of the creation of the State of Israel. So,
Right.
as a matter of fact, Stalin allowed shipment of airplanes through Czechoslovakia, warplanes which were originally used by the Germans, the Messerschmitt.
Mm.
They were modified so that they would be transported, or they could be transported to the State of Israel. But there was an armaments ban at that time, because the United States at that time, although the United States recognized the State of Israel in 1948, it was the Soviet Union which helped um, Israel at first. They sent in
Mm.
arms such as rifles, airplanes, and machine guns through Czechoslovakia. So thanks to the Soviet Union, it helped the Israelis bolster their defenses. And with regards to
Mm.
other countries such as Iran, Iran supported Israel because at that time Iran was not yet under the Shah. Uh,
Really?
it was
Iran
under
Iran was already a Muslim country at that time, and they supported Israel.
no, at that time Iran was still not under the communist Ayatollah communist. So at that time Iran was
Mm.
not yet a Muslim country or a Muslim state. We could not consider Iran at that time as a
At
Muslim
that
state.
time, I think.
Yeah, because it was ruled by the Shah, Shah Reza Pahlavi, and
Mhm.
he was very supportive of Israel. In fact, he was one of the first countries to recognize Israeli independence. So
Oh.
yeah, and they even exchanged delegates, diplomats during that time. So it was like a golden age between the relationship of Israel and Iran. And
Iran.
at that time, the Israeli government, it was dominated by socialist leaning parties, the Mapam and Mapai. These were both uh, left wing parties of the Israeli government. Those were the major parties, and they were left leaning. So Stalin believed, oh, we have to support this country because their government, in fact, were dominated by socialist parties. And we also have to take into account the support of Turkey because,
Turkey. Uh-huh.
yeah, during the time of the Ottoman Empire, uh, the Jewish people were friends of the Ottoman Empire. The Ottoman Empire respected Jewish immigration to the Holy Land. So when Turkey was born after the collapse of the Ottoman Empire was the first Muslim majority state that recognized Israel as a nation. So these are very important aspects that somehow bolster the resources of Israel
Mhm.
at the beginning of during the middle part of the Arab-Israeli War. It's so important.
So
And we have
basically,
to,
Israeli was not alone that time.
was not alone. And we have to also give credit to the Prime Minister of Israel, David Ben Gurion, because he was very effective in managing his generals. He has very competent generals. For example, we have Moshe Dayan,
Mhm.
the one with the eye patch, and we also have Itzhak Rabin, Actually, Yitzhak Rabin became the prime minister of Israel also, and
Right.
he really tried his best to have a peace deal with the Palestinians, and because of that, he was killed, and he won the Nobel Peace Prize. But anyway, Yitzhak Rabin, Moshe Dayan, they were very competent generals under David Ben Gurion, and that's the reason why also the Haganah were very inspired to fight the invaders.
Right. Their leadership played a big role in that particular
Definitely,
war.
definitely, because there was even a coup d'état. Like one faction, we call it the Stern Gang, tried to
Mm.
launch a coup d'état in the government. They bought some arms from the French. The French were
Mm.
about to deliver weapons, but David Ben Gurion decided, okay, someone tried to betray us. They have to be destroyed. So the ship carrying weapons from France, which
Mm.
would supposed to be used in the coup d'état, were bombed by the troops of David Ben Gurion. So that uprising didn't happen, and the Israeli government survived.
Right. Right.